First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not to unsettle you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning, and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing today, my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Man, we got so much to do, so much to talk about, and we welcome you in every day. I'm really grateful that you wake up with me these mornings, that you keep it locked as we move to Tavis Smiley, Jesse Jackson Jr., Dr. Nee Cordelai, Corte, D.L. Hughley, Zoe Williams, Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, and the whole team. Really grateful that you're part of our KBLA delegation. And if you want to show up, there's lots of ways to do that. I'm streaming right now on YouTube, youtube.com. It's KBLA 1580. You can see me. You can comment in the comments section, which is a whole vibe right now. And we're happy that you're there. So we're podcasting every day. You can also find shows you've missed on our app or wherever you get your pods, absolutely free. So you never miss a show. In fact, if you want to listen over and over again, you can do that too, going all the way back. And we encourage you to download the app onto your phone or update it if you haven't updated for a while, because we got a new and improved app now. And that presence, the incredible number of you who have actually downloaded the app, it makes us stronger, makes us powerful. It gives the lie to the notion that black folks and progressives do not show up on radio anymore. Just not true. And thank you for proving that. So the way we do things on a Talking Point Tuesday, this is where we debunk the BS, try to figure out why we're saying the things we're saying and stop saying those that do not serve us. The way we do it, hour one, we look local. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic or person of interest. Today, we'll be talking with Dr. Paul Wallace. He is a dermatologist, a cosmetic dermatologist, but also has a clinic here in South LA. And apparently, there's a very painful skin ailment going around. Folks don't even understand what it is, and now there's medication for that. So we're going to talk about that. And if you got something going on with your skin, you want to talk to the doctor, he'll be here. Final hour of the show. Hour two, we're opening up the phone lines to see what the hell is going on in Washington and internationally. So many stories dropping, and we're still catching up from our fabulous trip to the motherland. So right now we're looking left coast. That's what we do, hour one. And I am happy to have in the executive director at the Social Justice Learning Institute. He is an organizer, community organizer, and has worked in these kinds of spaces for quite some time. Derek Steele, welcome back.
It is a pleasure to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in live and in person. That's always even way better. We can see you. This conversation, last time you were in, we were talking about reparations, but Social Justice Learning Institute works in a lot of areas: education, health, youth and community empowerment. Mm-hmm. So this conversation stems from a little bit of a crisis that we have going on here, or a lot of a crisis that we have going on here in LA County.
Yeah. So, I am here in my capacity as executive director of the Social Justice Learning Institute, but because of that and the different populations and parts of our community that we represent, I have the opportunity to also sit in spaces like the Care First Community Investment, which is actually the activation of Measure J once it was passed. I also have the privilege of being appointed by Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office to represent the 2nd District in the Governance Reform Task Force as well, like was the passage of Measure G. I actually wasn't honestly a proponent of Measure G when it was out. I was pushing back against it, but I think many of the things that we were saying then have kind of come to bear here today, and the main reason why I'm here is because of what is happening with the LA County Charter and the juxtaposition between Measure J and Measure G.
Well, we're gonna backtrack a little, make sure everyone's on the same page, and just go to what Measure J is, because folks may have forgotten. Many in the advocates and activists haven't, but there are some who may have. So let's back. And by the way, just for the record, I was very much opposed to Measure G, and I was really chagrined to see that folks, y'all made a lot of really bad decisions last election. Can I just say that? I don't know what was in the water, what was in the air, but we got to do what we got to do now to move forward. So let's have a little review. Measure J.
Yeah, no problem. We got to take ourselves back to 2020. During that time, this is, in my opinion, not even my opinion, like, you talk to folks who were doing this work. This is decades worth of organizing things, pushing back against the police, pushing back against a lot of the underserved, being underserved and having not enough resources provided to our communities, and really fighting for how we can not only just move different ways that the county can actually support with different departments that were developed. I mean, during this time, the Department of Youth Development is created off of the work that the Youth Justice Reimagined organizers had done. We also have the development of the anti-racism and diversity inclusion office that Dr. D'Artagnan Scorza is now leading, comes to bear about this time. Supervisor Holly Mitchell actually gets the seat, and it was a surprise because most folks thought that her wasn't going to be able to get that seat. But the conversation around the Care First agenda was brought to the forefront. Of course, during that time, there is a lot happening in our communities and the community conversations around the Care First agenda, but also mainly, George Floyd is killed, Dijon Kinsey is killed by the police, and under leadership of Black Lives Matter, the community is speaking very loudly about the types of things that they actually want to see, the alternatives to the status quo that they want to bring
about. I mean, we kind of had a window of opportunity where people's consciousness rose. Absolutely. Where people were in their feelings about the murder of George Floyd.
Absolutely.
But I think you make a really good point that this is building on stuff that's been in motion. I mean, you talk about the Youth Development Department. Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of organizing. There's also the establishment of GRID in the city of Los Angeles, which is a precursor to that, which comes out of community organizing from the gang intervention prevention workers, from, a number of different folks, Community Coalition, Community Build, then council member Martin Ludlow, then COCO leader Karen Bass. I mean, it was just, so we're talking about decades of community organizing now being coalesced into policy, into actual buildings of departments, into Measure R, Measure J. These are ballot initiatives that took our protest and turned them into policy.
Absolutely. And what was really unique about Measure J is this was an initiative brought forward by the people. Right. So this is not just our electeds, trying to respond to the moment. This is the culmination of all the movement building that you just spoke on, being able to have a 10% set aside of county dollars going towards the Care First agenda. I'm talking about reentry. I'm talking about housing. I'm talking about alternatives to incarceration as well as direct community.
I mean, the entire Justice Care and
investments.
Opportunities Department,
Right.
which is really providing services for justice impacted people, support for community-based organizations that are providing services. It's a whole infrastructure that was put in place because voters wanted to take 10% of this money and spend it for things other than cops and jails. It's really what it comes down to. It's very basic.
Absolutely.
So this Measure G, which expanded the number of people on the Board of Supervisors and created an elected county CEO, which is the main thing I didn't like, because now you've got an office that no one is going to pay attention to, that voters won't understand who's running for, which is no term limits, and which is more powerful than the mayor and arguably almost at the level of a governor.
Right. Right.
And it's not, that never goes well for black people. It just doesn't. I was really surprised to see this coming from supposed progressive Lindsay Horvath. Horvath and Janice Hahn were the two supervisors who pushed for this against the objections of other members of the board who felt that it was rushed, that it needed to be more clearly defined, that you can't just change this. I mean, you talk about the county, it's huge. It's bigger than most states in terms of, the bureaucracy. And so now we're finding out, according to some county officials, that Measure G inadvertently, supposedly, I mean, you're asking me to believe that you accidentally repealed Measure J, which the voters put in place, which is a huge change to the county. We're already in perilous times because of budgeting, where, if the county was to declare an emergency, Measure J would be reversed anyway. And now you're just doing it. Whoops, sorry. I just undid one of the most important gains for progressives in the past 50 years.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
And that's this
Make
here
it
lies
make
the problem.
sense.
You spoke on it very eloquently as far as Measure G, and this is this past year. But even before we even get to that point, Measure J had done it, have gone through all levels, right? So not only did it get passed, but then it immediately went to court, was pushed back on, and thankful to the supervisors at the time to actually create the Care First community investment to bring the spirit of Measure J right to life and actually start to move those resources. Since 2020, we've had over 600. It's about $600 million or more dollars that have gone out the door. We're talking about 400 plus organizations that have gotten the resources serving hundreds of thousands of Angelenos in housing and reentry and all the different direct community investments is also alternatives to incarceration. So it's important to mention that because there's a body of work that has been established. And
right.
has
It's
been
not an
moving forward.
experiment. We know what
Absolutely.
Measure J is doing. We're going to continue this conversation. Hold that thought, Derek Steele. We'll continue this conversation. You're invited in at 800-920-1580. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. For this free information, call 800-433-8909. 800-433-8909. That's 800-433-8909. Or simply visit godra.com.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, I'm glad you're here with us. You know, I don't really like that drop, Miles, because I just feel like I'm saying, I'm your favorite host. Like, how do I know who your favorite host is? Let's hope it's me, because you're tuned in over here, but it just sounds arrogant to me. Anyway, I digress. I'm being joined by Derek Steele. He's the executive director at Social Justice Learning Institute, but you said you're more here in your capacity as a member of the the Care First Community Investment Group and some of the other hats that you wear, including Measure G implementation, which, is a huge project. We've made these sudden and massive changes to our county structure, and now we have to make it work. We recently found out that Measure G, quote unquote, accidentally overturned Measure J, and you were just outlining some of the things that Measure J has actually done, because it's been in effect for some time.
It has been, and I just wanted to underscore that part so that you understand the gravity of what it means when you say that Measure G coming in the way that it was written actually eliminates Measure J. And y'all got to bear with me for a second to be a little wonky, because and the reason why I mentioned both of my capacities being in both spaces, because I'm now privy to like some of the behind the scenes of how this is actually working. Most people don't know that the LA County Charter hasn't been updated since 2016. Which means that even after all these charter amendments that have passed, not only just Measure J and Measure G, but also Measure A, like when there was the holding the sheriffs accountable, like that
right.
measure, none of those have been added to the charter, right? So you could put that in the responsibility of the executive officer, not currently. There's Edward Yin, who's currently here, but even his predecessor as well. Somebody didn't do their job to make sure that the information was there.
Right, because when the voters vote on a change, it's supposed to be incorporated into
Absolutely.
the governing document of the county, which is the county charter.
Exactly.
And so, if it doesn't, it's in peril, right?
Well, here we are, right?
Yeah.
Now, Measure J wasn't added. Now, mind you, 2023, it finally wins at the California Supreme Court, so Measure J is law.
Right.
Like, it has gone through all different levels. It's unequivocal. It should have been added to the charter at that period in time, but it didn't. So when the writers wrote Measure G, a whole section of where Measure J was supposed to live, by way of the county CEO position being an elected position now by 2028, now sunsets Measure J. Like it eliminates the whole section, because those powers are being given to the executive as well. So it is like in my mind, like you said, a sleight of hand. And, you know, because the writer should have known all the different the histories of the county and how things was actually supposed to go. But what is being said right now is that, you know, due to an administrative error, you know, Measure J is in this peril. So, you know, we have now the Board of Supervisors, particularly Supervisor Horvath and Supervisor Hahn.
Who were the champions of Measure G, which so-called accidentally removed Measure J, which is the funding behind the Care First agenda.
Exactly.
It is the funding to do something other than just lock people up, build more and more and more in jails, and give more and more and more money to the sheriffs.
In fact, Measure G has a greater majority of resources to close down Minnesota Jail, which is a whole other conversation for a different day.
Which we've had many times on the show and probably will continue to have. But I feel like this, to me, this is more significant because this is, as you pointed out, there's dozens of nonprofit organizations, service people providing services from halfway houses to mental health, you know, support to things like the Justice Care and Opportunities Department hotline, which actually will help people coming out of prison and jail get to court, get to their court dates, find housing. The things that keep that revolving door from revolving and keep families from going broke when their loved ones come out of the system. These kinds of things are what we, the voters, asked for. Don't just keep locking people up and then locking them up and locking them up again. Let's break the cycle. You know, things like support for the unhoused so that they don't have to be killed by police, or the mentally ill so they don't have to be killed by police when they're having a crisis, because we have other resources and other folks that are in charge of those areas. All of this is in danger because supposedly, accidentally, 2 sitting supervisors and their supporters passed a bill that they want me to believe that they didn't know it was going to do this.
Yeah.
How can you
That's tough.
That's problematic.
And, you know, I do also want to underscore that there are parts of Measure G that, you know, we believe that governance reforms needs to take place in LA County. You know, like
governance reform. A lot of people have talked about expanding the county board of supervisors.
Right.
Okay, I'm still
Budget
a maybe on that because I need to see how
committees.
you're doing it and how does it impact low-income communities and black communities.
And that's why.
Do we get less powerful? Do we get more watered down, or is this an improvement? I don't know until I see it.
And that's why I think it. You know, as a community organizer representing space in the Measure G task force, it's important to make sure those voices are brought to the table on a regular basis. And so when we found out about what was going on here, and shout out to my man John Fasana, who was also on the Governance Reform Task Force, who actually figured out all of this. You know, when he brought it to the floor, we actually in our last meeting last week brought it up. Even though it wasn't agendized, and it was tried to get shut down because of that. But you know, we definitely made the case that this needs to be a conversation in that space that we need to figure out first before we start talking about anything else about what Measure G is going to try to do. Because you know, eliminating such a huge part of the work that community members not only fought for and have been doing work on behalf of with each other with Measure J, you know. What other things has Measure G done that we haven't uncovered yet that we need to examine? So there is a motion today, and if you have the ability to listen into the Board of Supervisors meeting, you know, item 43B, they are going to be talking about the county's recommitment to Measure J. Which we are all supportive of. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There needs to be a double down on making sure that the county is committed to the future of Measure J. But the way that has been outlined, I don't necessarily agree with. So we need to make sure we're amending whatever that motion is, including making sure that they finish the job of Measure J. Like, we don't need to re-examine Measure J and bring it back before the people.
Okay, so what we're talking about now is a motion before the Board of Supervisors to talk about implementing Measure J, not to just say, okay, we made a mistake, this needs to be immediately added to the charter, because from my understanding, even as it exists, such a motion would only re-up Measure J for 1 year.
Right. And that's not okay.
That's not what we voted
Measure
for.
J is in perpetuity. Like, the resources dedicated to making sure that alternatives incarceration and also direct community investment is supposed to be happening year over year.
What is the, okay, we have to leave this for after news, traffic, and sports, but I want to know what is the justification for re-upping something that voters asked to be implemented permanently for 1 year after y'all messed up and repealed it. What's the logic behind that? We'll look at that and more after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump warns of a 100% tariff on Russia if no Ukraine peace deal is reached.
We're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days.
At the White House, he met with NATO Secretary General and announced a new arms deal, including Patriot missiles for Ukraine. Black Mayor Eric Adams is opening 11 new schoolyards across New York City as part of the Schoolyards to Playgrounds program. The goal? More green space in park-starved neighborhoods. Starting this month, the site will be open daily from 8 a.m. to dusk when school's not in session. And Atlanta police are investigating the theft of unreleased Beyoncé music. 2 suitcases were stolen from her choreographer's rental car July 8th, containing thumb drives, laptops, and tour plans. A suspect has been identified, and security footage captured the break-in. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Fall enrollment is still open at California Baptist University. Earn your bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree with flexible on-campus and online programs. Scholarships are still available to help you get started. Apply now at calbaptist.edu.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Bronny James led the Lakers rookies and free agents with 17 points Monday night in the team's loss to the Clippers in the NBA Summer League in Vegas. LeBron's son played 24 minutes. He made 6 of 10 shots and had 5 assists. The LA Sparks are at home tonight against the Washington Mystics. The Sparks are trying to win consecutive games for the first time this season. They beat the Connecticut Sun on Sunday. At 7-14, the Sparks are tied with the Chicago Sky for the 3rd worst record in the WNBA. Congratulations to Ty Floyd, a 28-year-old native of Winter Garden, Florida. Floyd is the first female play-by-play announcer to work for an HBCU athletic program. Floyd was hired Monday by Alabama A&M to be the school's play-by-play voice for football and basketball games on TV and radio. Floyd is a journalism graduate from HBCU Florida A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have cancer. The 3 words no one wants to hear. Of the cancers that impact our community, lung cancer is the most dangerous. More people succumb to lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate combined. Black men are 12% more likely to develop lung cancer, and cases for Black women are rising. Early detection and comprehensive treatment is the best way to beat this dreaded disease. Providence is a research leader in multi-cancer early detection, offering blood tests that identify fast-spreading cancers that don't show symptoms in early stages. The Providence Los Angeles Integrated Network Cancer Program determines best protocols for each patient, interacting with specialists who share experiences, perspectives, and new findings specific to each case. With over 1,000 board-certified physicians, including top oncologists, surgeons, radiologists, and nurse specialists, Providence delivers whole-person care that understands your culture, values, preferences, and priorities. So, if you hear the words "you have cancer," all you need is faith and providence.org/cancer.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit FVGradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431. 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431. 800-868-6431 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I do thank you. In case you're just joining us, we're talking with Derek Steele. He's part of the Care First Community Board and an activist here in Los Angeles. You know him from the Social Justice Learning Institute, among other initiatives. Right now we're talking about how Measure G, which was approved by voters against my advice, not that I'm any expert, but I do have I have a master's degree from the School of Common Sense, that it changed the county structure to increase the number of supervisors on the Board of Supervisors and create an elected county CEO. It's currently an appointed one that works under the supervisors. Now this person jumps up and becomes sort of like the emperor of the county, with no term limits and no discernible oversight. But y'all passed it, and now we found out, I think about a day ago, maybe a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah, we actually, it was brought to light last week, Wednesday.
Right, that's right, last week. We found out that this supposedly accidentally, all of the news reports are saying accidentally, but I need proof that this was an accident before I'm going to repeat that. Supposedly, accidentally, it takes away Measure J, which Measure J is what we voted for, that would take 10% of our county funds and move them over to not jail and not cops,
right,
to other things that people want to spend our money on. Now this is because, and it's interesting to me the way it's being written about in a lot of the papers. They're saying administrative error leads to repeal of Measure J. No, what led to the repeal of Measure J was Measure G,
right,
which was rushed through, which is what Supervisor Mitchell and others told us was happening. And so, because even though it wasn't incorporated into the charter, and as you said earlier, Derek, that means somebody didn't do their job, it would not be repealed. It just wouldn't be incorporated into the charter. It wouldn't be repealed if there was no Measure G.
Right.
So to just say it was administrative error is bull. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the question is, how can we fix it? They're talking about it today at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I'm reading in some places we're going to need another ballot measure to reinstate it. Some are saying no, that the Board of Supervisors can fix this through a motion, maybe extend it for a year and then incorporate it into the charter somehow. The fact is, we don't know, right?
Right. Well, there are steps that can be taken. I mentioned earlier, Measure J has done its work of working through the entire system from a Democratic
right. Of
standpoint.
course, it was challenged. The sheriffs and all these other people were against it. They took it to court. Supreme Court said that's the law. That's what voters asked for. It is what it is, and the money is flowing, and people are relying on it for services we depend on. Probably you, even though you don't know you depend on it, or that you're benefiting from it. I would imagine you are.
Exactly, and so we believe that this conversation that is being had today at the Board of Supervisors office, which, yeah, I mean, yes, you want to get to the bottom of it, find out how this happened. You want to make sure that county council does its due diligence to find out what steps need to be taken to move forward to fix it. But the re-examination of Measure J by way of the measure, I'm sorry, by the way of the motion that was brought forth today is what we push back on. Like, if we're investigating anything, we need to be talking about it from the framing of how we fix it for Measure G. Bottom line, because it was never added to the charter, they can just finish their job of codifying Measure G. That's the first step that should be taken, right? Measure J. Codify Measure J.
Right, put it in the charter like it was supposed to be.
Where it's supposed to be, and be good to go. Then you bring the task force, put us to task, and make sure that we are examining what is going on with Measure G and what changes need to be happening, to bring the recommendations about what the
and see what else may have been quote unquote accidentally wrecked
or changed or right. what we're talking about here, and
maybe
then
improved. I guess it's possible,
right? And so you want to do that examination from that standpoint.
So there's some confusion in the YouTube chat. Molly Bell says make these measures clear. Carl Tucker says Measure G and J is just more controversy, no help to the people at all. And Carl, I'm going to tell you that is not true.
Yeah, I'll push back. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll push back on that because the work of Measure J is activated. You know, like I said earlier, we're talking about 400 plus different organizations and service providers, just by way of the third-party administrator that has resources, not just the county departments that have
to make
resources.
it simple,
You know what I mean?
Measure J took money that would have gone to the sheriff's department and to jails and spent it on helping the unhoused,
right.
people coming back from prison,
absolutely,
youth in foster care.
Yeah. The education
this is
system,
very direct help. This is not mysterious at all. It's moving money from the carceral system over to the care system.
Yeah, and that's the big. We're talking about moving money too, though. Like, it's not just
big
moving
money.
You know what I mean? We're talking about. First year was $187 million. Second year was $100 million. Third year was $88.3. We're now talking about reallocating $219 million that the county departments didn't spend to make sure that it's actually going back out the door. We had in the process we're in right now, there was 260 different constant recommendations that came from community to be able to make sure that we're reallocating those dollars when they need to. Like, this is a very big deal. Talking about sunsetting this, it's going to really impact. Like, we already have the budget constraints as it is. And the county Board of Supervisors are already trying to figure out how they can position themselves to get access to the unspent funds.
And we've already had a whole, we've already,
I mean?
I think it was in the spring that we were talking about, no, you cannot poach these monies for your budget holes and general fund problems. This is what the public set aside specifically for alternatives to jail and cops.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's been a huge victory.
And we got to protect it.
Something that needed to be protected anyway because of budget hard times and this lurch to the right that we saw the last election where y'all elected District Attorney Nathan Hochman and y'all passed Measure 36 that were very problematic.
Measure J is one of the last lines of defense for community. And I'm also not saying scrap Measure G. Like, it got passed, and representation is a very important piece of the puzzle for many of our other
it's the law.
Counterparts.
So whether I like it or other people like it or not,
right.
Just like Measure J got passed, it's the law.
It's the law. So we're just saying, let's modernize it. Let's set it. Let's analyze and see what the problems are, and let's fix it and bring that back to the people, not rehash Measure J. So, I mean, I think this is a moment, right? And it's a moment that could divide us, but I think it can define this where we are, right? With all the different things that are happening in the world and in the country, LA and what's happening here, particularly with what we're doing with governance and the Care First agenda, stands out as a bright spot across the entire nation about how this can actually be done if community is actually engaged.
So the simple version, Molly Bell, Measure G is the one that just passed that expands the number on the Board of Supervisors and creates an elected county CEO position. Right. Measure J was the one that took 10% of certain county funds and set them aside for not jail and not cops, for alternatives to those carceral systems. And was a reflection of decades of organizing. So,
right.
I mean, that's the simple version. If we say, well, voters passed Measure G, so we can't throw it away, does that mean that whether they meant to do it or not, Measure J is history?
No, like there's steps that can be taken to solve this.
But it doesn't sound like, will they be taken? What we're having today, the motion on the table today is what?
Well, the motion today is to say that they're recommitting to Measure J, but doing it by re-examining Measure J. And so that's why I'm here today, to be like, I know this is a wonky talk. I had the responsibility of trying to make it all make sense. But if you don't do anything else today with the conversation that's being had, call your board of supervisor, your supervisor, and let them know that we need to, if we're going to re-examine anything, we need to talk about re-examining Measure G and how we can fix this problem moving forward so we don't have these issues.
Right. I mean,
what
if the Supreme Court has already
approved hashed
Measure
out.
J, why are we re-examining it?
We don't.
Fix it. You claim you made a mistake, fix it.
And that's all they got to do. All they got to do is finish their job in codifying the measure and putting it into the charter. That's it. Measure J will put that to bed, and we can continue doing our work in perpetuity. If we're going to do anything, let's have a conversation about how we rehash and update Measure G.
One of my things that's really giving me pause right here, Derek Steele, is that there's been no accountability by supervisors, Horvath or Hahn, as far as I'm concerned. What I heard Horvath say was, it was a county error, it was administrative error, not I passed a measure that everyone told me was rushed and they were right and I vow to fix this because I messed up. No accountability, no responsibility, finger pointing.
I'm hoping today that
doesn't
changes.
give me hope.
I really do. I hope after some of the conversations that have already been had, the Reimagine Los Angeles had a conversation yesterday with Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, as well as Councilmember Eunice Hernandez, who was taking this issue to task. These are folks who helped to bring forth, along with leaders in BLM and leaders in community, to make sure Measure J was brought to bear. But my point in all this is that today can be the day where folks can actually bring around. That's what I'm saying. They can define us. But if they don't, then you're absolutely right. We need to go and do the work to hold her feet to the fire, because this is actually her measure, right? She pushed this when everybody else said pause. She pushed this when everybody else said, take a beat. Let's actually communicate about the things that we actually need. Does it need to be 9? Can it be 12? Can it be more than that?
9 supervisors.
9 supervisors or not? Yes, we need the budgetary oversight, but what are the things we want to make sure that it is doing? The ethics committee,
to be fair, I know that
well.
They've been talking for decades
and there's
about
reports and everything that they've been doing.
The county and adding more seats. So some people, I can see why you would be impatient. But
especially if you're from like the Asian community or from folks who are not represented on the board of supervisors, you want to see change now. And
there's an
I
argument
get that from
to be made, but when you've got when you've got veteran lawmakers telling you, "Whoa, okay, let's hold up," it doesn't mean that it has to hold up forever. It means we need a little more time to analyze it. We're not there yet. Supervisor Barger, who tends to be a conservative voice on the board, made it real plain. She said it reinforces concerns she had about Measure G from the start. When major changes to the county charter are pushed forward without sufficient time for analysis, public input, and transparency, mistakes become more likely. But again, you're right. People can do the right thing.
Right.
And I think that would be really, really important.
But even with both of these measures, what forced them to even get them across is people power.
Right.
Right. And I know this is hard, and there are real tensions. There's some folks who feel accused and feel blame. And honestly, my goal is not to do that in this conversation. It's, I actually even have tried to reach out to have conversations about how we actually reconcile this.
Well, yeah, but you're part of that board.
Yeah, so it has.
And my job is to say
forward.
WTF.
Yeah.
Because this is what we were talking about before it happened, and this is even worse than, well, maybe not even worse, because I'm still, looking to see, and I guess that's part of your job, you guys' job, is where are the term limits for county CEO? Where's the oversight and accountability for that position? Have we just created a county emperor? And I guess those are the things you guys are meant to work out with this part of your assignment.
Absolutely. And I'm having these types of conversations because my job is to bring your voice into that space to make sure that your
do you
points
even
of
have
view
the
are brought
authority to do it? If the voters pass Measure G, creating a county emperor, do we have the authority in your implementation board for Measure G to even add oversight or term limits or anything like that?
Yeah, well, that's what we are trying to examine right now. Like, what are the parameters of the recommendations that we can bring forward? There's many of us who want to go far and wide to make sure that there are clear, bright lines, because we're watching what's happening on the federal side of what happens when you don't have people who are holding those lines.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they get blurred, and then people, you end up with folks feeling like they're king
going further
of
than
the
not
country,
holding the lines that are breaking down the lines, that are
Exactly.
dismantling your education department. So
we got to figure out how to make them
You can't
strong.
rely on having a progressive county board of supervisors. You signed back Measure J for 1 year, boom, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Villanueva wins county CEO and he's the emperor of LA forever.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Is that what we've set ourselves up for? And is it too late to put the genie back in the bottle? And it sounds like you guys are figuring that out.
I'm glad that we're having this conversation now, though, right? Like, yes, it did what it did to Measure J, but now it forced us to be like, oh, wait a minute, how did we get here? And I'm saying, when you look at the documentation, it's actually the county CEO role in the way that was written in Measure G that created this problem. So if you're actually going to do the work to try to solve this and be serious about it, we have to actually re-examine the county elected office, right? Officer. Folks.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, I'm pushing.
We're praying
we
for
need to bring it back.
Here.
Yeah,
we're going to need miracles because the county don't move fast. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. We'll continue our conversation with Derek Steele when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. For this free information, call 800-433-8909. 800-433-8909. That's 800-433-8909. Or simply visit godra.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Molly Bell says, don't we vote for that money to be spent? Yes, to be clear, Measure J, we already voted for it. It already passed. It was challenged in court. It won. It is money that is being spent right now to help the community through not just nonprofits that are doing the work, but supporting on those nonprofits so that they can be more sustainable and have better governance. The creation of the Justice Care and Opportunities Department. We're talking about millions and millions, tens of millions, actually hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So now, because of this purported goof up or something that happened with Measure G, those funds could be in peril. There's a motion today that the Board of Supervisors will discuss, which is brought by Horvath?
Yes.
Which would do what?
And Supervisor Hahn.
Hahn and Horvath. So even though they haven't said it's our fault, they've stepped up with a motion
to recommit the county to Measure J and to make sure that part is unequivocally clear, to have the county council look into how this happened in the first place and to fix it. They also request for a document breakdown from the county council that is for the Board of Supervisors, but I guess not for the public to see. That part was really weird for me as well. But also to bring forth, if there needs to be something that goes to the voters in 2026, to examine that from a Measure J standpoint.
And that's where that sticks me. Part that makes me mad.
Hold on, man. Hold on. We don't need to go and do that. We all talk about, so.
Right. So you want to basically put Measure J up for another referendum,
and we don't need
during
to rehash
a time
that.
when we've seen incredible backlash.
That's right.
And it's a terrible idea. But at least the conversation is happening. So what can members of the public do? We voted for this. We want Measure J to continue. Care First to be a commitment. What can we do?
So I want to make sure that folks understand, like, the work that you did when you voted to send. It also put into place people who are watching this and also making sure that the resources are going to where they're supposed to. I want to give a shout out to folks like Reba Stevens and Veronica Lewis and remember Wesley Cronk and even some of the Rosa Soto, many of the folks who are on the Measure J, the Care First Community Investment Advisory Committee who do this work. There's 24 of us who actually sit and actually make sure the decisions for the funding allocations are actually taking place. You can always pull up to those meetings so you can find out exactly what's happening, speak in public comment to make sure that we are being held accountable to what you want. I'm talking about the Measure J space. Like, you can be a part of those conversations. But today, what can you do today? We need you to make sure you can either pull up to the County Board of Supervisors meeting today, down Kenneth Hahn Hall of Administration, 500 West Temple Street, room 351B, or you can even just call in to the line to be able to make sure your voice is heard about making sure that we protect Measure J. But and even with this motion, which is good to have the county recommit itself to it, we want to make sure that the amendments are there to make sure that we're examining Measure G, that we are making sure that Measure J gets added to the charter like it was supposed to. Like, these are the things that we want you to make sure that you're talking to your Board of Supervisors about. You can call 1-877-226-8163. And the participant code for that call-in is 1336503. I'll say that again, 1-877-226-8163 to call in. And then when you get there, the participation code is 1336503. Let them know that you want to speak on behalf of recommitting to the county to Measure J, and speak your mind. Say what you need to say. Put it all out there. Make sure that your voice is heard, because that's when they start getting nervous and start to make sure they are following along what the community wants. But if the community voice is not there, then they're going to do what they want to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Derek Steele, thanks for coming in and breaking this down. Appreciate the conversation.
Thank you. I know this is tough, like listening, trying to follow along, especially if you haven't seen it. You can go to the county website and look up Measure J. There's a website that you can follow along there. If you go to the Justice, Care, and Opportunity Department, you can follow along with what's going on with Care First Community Investment, which is the Measure J resources as well. Like, be involved, get engaged, and I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you down at the county today, because I'm going to be there.
Absolutely. News, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump warns of a 100% tariff on Russia if no Ukraine peace deal is reached.
We're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days.
At the White House, he met more green space in park-starved neighborhoods. Starting this month, the site will be open daily from 8 a.m. to dusk when school